Hello and welcome to the Foxy Bros podcast. I am your host, Niall Fox, aka Foxy, and I'm joined today by a group of people who are going to talk random bollocks today. Uh, uh, this is basically the podcast where we are going to talk about try to talk about a topic and see where the conversation takes us. So I am joined today by Darkwing Duck.
That's me, Jonathan. I was joking actually before I previewed, but yeah, I'll take that.
Ryan,
if anything.
the man that genetics forgot. Amy, hello, Amy. The voice of OTT, Butch.
I thought you were going to say Ango there, and I was like, okay.
Right entrance.
And the communist, Tony Kenny.
Hey.
Red, he's in red as well.
You look, I am red.
So how is everyone to get started?
We're good. We're good
Sunday, but it feels like Sunday because it's every day has been like a Sunday.
Yeah,
it's been the longest Sunday I think I've had.
It's been the best Sunday in a while, though. We had UFC last night. Oh,
yeah, we did have UFC.
So for those that haven't been living under a rock, or by the time this comes out, Reem would have aired his 50th episode of his podcast. Was it the Hallway Wrestling podcast, isn't it?
Indeed. Yes, that was an interesting night to say the least.
I don't apologize for anything.
I don't expect. I respect.
I apologize for nothing on any of that. I still think I was screwed over in the first round.
Oh yeah, the first round is amazing.
Wheel of Fortune was my comeback, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, but it's aired already, so we can talk about it.
It was a lot of fun, to do. Really was, very much enjoyed it, doing the whole lot. Very good job by Jonathan there for getting all set up, preparing it, and delivering as the quiz master.
He did a catchphrase round, that was just genius.
To be fair, I've actually hosted 3 quizzes right now, and I've always had some form of Dimbacks round in it, so it's kind of a specialty at this stage. But yeah, I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm just glad that a Blockbusters round looks so good in XL. If there's any reason why XL is the best thing that's ever made, that's the reason for it. You can literally do it.
Listening to it back, I just didn't. I knew there was shade thrown my way. I just didn't know to what extent until I watched it back. I was just
yeah. In fairness, you weren't in the room for most of the insults.
I was just gonna say, was he not there for the three-legged puppy comment?
No, I wasn't. I went to the bathroom because I had one countdown. The one round I won, I went and I came back and someone was like, he's a three-leg. It's like shooting a three-legged puppy. And then it was like Rian versus Zach Gowen. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hold on a second. I said Rian versus Zach Gowen when you were in the room.
Yeah.
I made sure I made that pop at you because I still think Zach Gowen would win.
Wow. Okay. But now we know that you've taken our belt hostage, fucking.
So,
Fox is the new champion.
Yes. Yeah, I was delighted about that. I realized now that I did kind of steal your potential thumbnail for the YouTube channel, but it's just yeah.
I could have clickbaited everybody into thinking that there was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire lockdown style, and
Foxy is dangerous in competition. I remember, I don't know if anyone remembers, would have been around the first year OTT started. They had an after party in the Tivoli, and there was a Street Fighter tournament.
I was there for that. I was there
and
for
then
that.
You look up, and you see fucking Foxy sweeping the floor with everybody.
Yeah, I fucking love that because he's had to clear the ring out so quickly, and it was purely so there would be a dance floor at the bottom of it, and it was it wasn't worth the time and the hassle because nobody used the dance floor. They're all bollocks.
Yeah.
Except for my mate Jerry, who did some breakdancing, and that was it. There was only him and Jamie who did some breakdancing. That was it.
Everyone was wrecked, and the bar barely sold any drinks that we wanted. No one really wanted to be there. They wanted to go to a bar where they could actually drink what they wanted. But still, I was just all right, I'm tired, I'm fed up. Fuck it. Don't know what else to do. There's Street Fighter.
I'm tired, I'm wasted, I love you, darling. Nice room reference for all the fans out there.
It was fun. I loved when OTC did things like that because it was just yes, it was very engaging for the crowd, but like it was great for us, knowing that we had a great show. We felt even better about going out and just chilling out.
I will say this: I've never felt more intimidated by anyone ever as when Corvin was like playing GoldenEye. Was it GoldenEye?
No, he was playing No Mercy against
No.
Keane.
Yeah,
Corporate
but
Keane,
like,
right? I was,
hell.
I was like beside them, right? And I remember the match to this day in like great detail. It is honestly one of my favorite wrestling matches I've ever seen. I forget who Keane was, but I do know for a certain fact that Corvin was X-Pac, right? And Corvin was like beating the ever-living shit out of Keane in the game.
He didn't know how to pin.
Exactly, right? I knew how to pin. And I remember Corvin turned to me and he went to me, but you better tell me how to pin. And I was like, I'm not telling you. Because he was a bit of a heel at the time, and I thought, let's do it. So he finally learned how to pin, right? I caved in. So this was the 7th X Factor that he hit. So he hits it, goes to the pin, right? He stands up, okay? He stands up, thinking that's it. 1, 2, King kicks out. The place fucking erupts.
Oh, was it like was it a really tiny like kick out bar? Was it
it was a really, really tiny kick out. But it's the fact that like if you were there, you would have seen it and you would have said, all right, that's it. Corvin's done. He hit his 7th finisher. And like there's no way he kicks out. 1, 2, kick out. Like No Mercy is just such an unbelievable game when you're playing multiplayer. I remember.
I'll be honest, that's the most I've ever felt. That's the most I've ever been intimidated by fucking Damien Corvin in my entire life. When he turned to me and was like, "How do you pin?" I'm like, "I don't know." Get the fuck away from me, then. I was like, "Okay."
You say it to me.
That's pretty much,
yeah.
My memory of that day was the Mario Kart tournaments because I kind of went in there and like. The first, because I've never played Mario Kart before, and the first person I set down the face was fucking Angel Cruz, right? And he's in character, right? So he's there with like the 2 lads as well, and it's just like it was basically just between like me trying to figure out how the game works. So like it's a driving game, so you have to get the force feedback right, especially on something like Mario Kart. And at that point, then Angel had already crossed the line and was going like, okay, so there's 5 degrees of freedom here. That's fine, we can work on that. Just knock the traction control off and be grand. And it was like, I think at that point then, it was like one of the last tournaments to be done on the day because there was a Street Fighter, there was the No Mercy, Tetris, all that sort of shit. And at that point, all of you guys had left to do the call with Joe. Like, so it was basically just a tournament between like 8 players. And it ended up being me and my cousin in the final. And she never played Mario Kart before either. And it's just the gassing was like the both of us like got to the final through pure like bluffing basically.
Pure fluke.
And and we both won fucking the vouchers to Rage. So we just popped in the next day and bought a whole lot of shit. I just bought some obscure PS2 games. So,
Rage, in my opinion, and Rage is my favorite shop in probably the world.
Shocked to hear that, Butch. Shocked to hear that.
Shocked, I know. And I was delighted last week when they opened up for deliveries again. And I bought a load of games that I didn't like, that I forgot I didn't have. So I got a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I got Def Jam Vendetta, which is a game that I doubt.
Hip-hop fighting game.
Hip-hop fighting game. But the same game engine as good old Aki, which was No Mercy and NWO Revenge and WrestleMania 2000 engine. But I played Vendetta for the first time and it's so good. Unbelievable. I got the GameCube version because I think there's not really much difference between GameCube and PS2 version with that. And plus Aki made famous on the Nintendo. So yeah.
Yeah, I've realized that gaming when you're drunk makes it even more competitive because when you're speaking of Mario Kart, I was in a friend's house and we had a whole Mario Kart tournament. This is about a year ago, and we're playing Mario Kart. And you know when you pip someone right on the line with like a shell, you're like right on the line, you pip him.
Yeah.
He had half a can of Pratsky in his hand. He was sitting adjacent to me. I pipped him on the line, and this can of Pratsky smacks me in the skull. Right in the skull after I beat this guy to the line. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
It's like, fuck you, motherfucker!
It's like,
I was thinking any time I was in buskers, actually, and we were always playing, because we always, like, Butch has, like, the game set up before drinking really has begun. And, like, even still, I'm still very aggro with people in the whole thing. Like, I don't need alcohol to rage over a video game at all.
Mm. I will chime in here with a.
Noah's 4.
Yeah.
Noah is 4, and me and him play Mario Kart together.
Don't let him win.
No, I'm not gonna. Why the fuck would I let him in? He has to understand. Like, no, Mario Kart is serious fucking business.
It's the only way. It's the only way he'll get better.
He's not gonna learn. Exactly. Yeah. Like, there's no point. Like, he's not gonna learn.
My brother's the same.
Yeah. I was gonna chime in there with a cheeky plug for myself because on my YouTube channel we've done a series called Drink and Play, where we play a game and apply some drinking rules to it. And the more people in the room, the more drinking rules, right?
Nice.
I cannot encourage it enough, right? When the plague is over, the 3 I can recommend, right? Top of the list is Pokemon Snap, right?
Right.
Take a drink when you get a new Pokemon. Take a drink every time you get a perfect score, and drink for every multiplier. You'll be fluted by the fucking second. You'll be fluted by the third stage, lads. I guarantee you.
That game. I have that game.
I don't.
Damn.
What's another one? I'm really interested in that. Please tell me the other 2, because this sounds like an absolute fantastic idea.
You know, we did.
Jonathan, you're having a Tony situation right now.
Yeah, you're having a.
You're literally having a Tony stroke.
Yeah, give us a minute.
I wasn't having this stroke. I just duplicated.
Yeah, for obviously it's an audio podcast. Yeah, we had 2 Tonys. Tony had 2 vessels or whatever Matt Hardy says. He was 2
vessels.
Yeah. Recommend. Yeah. Broforce just generally is a good game to play when you're having drinks anyway, so I can kind of recommend that. 2 other like low key ones that are good is Rayman and Colin McRae Rally. Like Rayman for like every cage, every life, every death, and you're just gone after. Once you hit Blue Mountains, you're pissed. Right?
Oh fuck that.
And Colin McRae Rally, I think we did every stage would go green. Just take a drink. So you could end up like you'd finish a stage maybe like 8 drinks, and then again by like the 3rd stage you're properly drink driving and you just got no chance to survive.
Is it like so? Like Rayman is you just kind of like take turns playing, or?
Yeah, that's the way we were doing it. Yeah, we were kind of doing it death by death. So so if you die, just take a drink, pass it on then. There's a few others I can't remember off the top of my head, but A Bug's Life was one of them, and that was terrible. Just the game.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. But I remember, speaking of drinking and old school gaming, I once, and Amy would have been in attendance, once ran a house gathering called Cans and Smackdown 2.
I don't want to talk about this because I did something I'm not proud of. I actually don't. Do you know what? It's not that I'm not proud of it. I'm actually very proud of what I was able to do that night, but that was fucking messy.
It was a great turnout. But it's pretty much you had a Cans and Smackdown 2 tournament, and it's something I love to do at the end of the apocalypse. Is run a Cans and Smackdown 2 night. I have figured a way of playing it online, which hopefully in the next few months I could start doing a streaming thing with people, and we get a little bit of a league going to see who's the ultimate SmackDown 2 champion. It can be me, but if anyone else wants to challenge, feel free.
I nearly killed Kane that night.
Okay, probably deserved it. Probably deserved
it. No. This is what happened, right? So I think it was literally everyone just picked a name out of a hat, and that's who they were up against. And then we didn't pick our characters; we let the randomized pick it. So it was like we just randomized. So it was like it wasn't even like you got to pick who you got to wrestle as. It was random. So we were doing it this way. But again, I had the Corvin complex. I didn't know how to pin. Right?
Can we call that from now on?
If a
wrestler
complex,
can't remember how to pin, it's called the Corvin complex.
Right?
Foxy, can we
complex?
Can we approve that change, Foxy? Yeah, can we call that?
Sure, why not?
I couldn't figure out.
I'd pop if you fucking start chanting that fucking show.
I'm gonna try and get that going.
I couldn't remember how. I couldn't remember how to pin.
It's for you.
And then I just got really aggro.
Angro?
I got really aggro at Keane to the extent where I think I punched him in the arm, and then I just kind of start through the game and stormed off, and I sat down with my wine. And then who was it? There was someone, I can't remember. It was one of Butch's friends. I can't remember which one it was, but we were discussing Asher, you wouldn't be able to down a bottle of wine. I can down a bottle of wine. I downed that bottle of wine in 30 seconds, and I still have the video of me downing a bottle of white wine in 30 seconds.
Big mistake.
It was a big mistake because I think later on that night I ended up drawing on one of Butch's said friends with a marker.
With a gang.
To be fair, it wasn't just me, but we managed to balance a few things on him. But I am the one that was like, someone get me a marker. I think I was the oldest one there as well. That's what makes it even worse. I was technically the adultier adult in this situation, but I was like, nah, it's drawn. And
you're not an adult after you drink a bottle of wine, Amy. That's,
down a bottle of wine.
You've returned your fucking card at that point.
It took me 30 seconds to down a full bottle of Sauvignon Blanc.
That's embarrassing.
Amy, don't drink. We've heard the wine stories.
One of the best things that we can all, if you're a gamer or into games, especially when you're playing with your friends, the best things and the funniest things is when you piss them off for doing the slightest thing. But they increasingly get more pissed off, and you're breaking your bollocks laughing because of it. So therefore, the more they do it, the more you laugh, and therefore the more enjoyable it is for you to play.
Fucking Crash Team Racing. Crash Team Racing. We've done 2 tourneys on the channel, and holy shit, it just turns into a bum fight if you lose twice. It's just a disaster.
Halo would be the game.
I cut off Tony there. Sorry, what were you saying?
Halo would be the game for me because the plasma grenade. In Halo, just running up to them, sneaking up, and it's like, boom, there you go, bye. They blow up. They start losing their shit. And therefore, I'm a happy guy because I am pissing myself laughing.
Yeah.
All fun and games.
We had this. So me and Butch, we play UFC online a lot. And the one thing I can't stand is Corporate Keen when he always button mashes. It is so annoying. I lose my shit every single time. I'm throwing controllers all over the gaff. It is so annoying because it's literally, you could just hear the buttons just going proper mashing
and
play the game.
And then he gets lucky.
And then he beats me because he's just pressing every button under the sun, and oh my god, it's infuriating.
Pure skill, Tommy.
But the moral of this podcast is that Corporate Team's a fucking wind-up merchant.
Yeah. He is a fucking wind-up merchant. He knows he is, and he just gets away with it because straight away he'll just text you back being like, LMAOF. I'm just like, fuck you.
I love him. I do love him.
That's brilliant.
It's fun. I noticed that when you hear him on the likes of a podcast or in his videos, his humor really gets across. But when you see him in person, it's just it's the opposite. It's just quiet, doesn't say that, and just don't interact with me.
Fucking hairbrush.
Kane at one point, right? Kane was very high on a Cork promotion at one point. No, it's great crack. You should totally go down. You should definitely go and watch one of these. You should go. You have to go. It's great. I think it's better than OTT. Those were exact words that Kane said to sell us on this particular promotion. And some of us took the bait and we went to said promotion.
Where? Who?
The next day, we were back up and there was a show in the
Ringside
Club. And Ali and me and Butch, we were going to the show. No, it wasn't the next day. It might have been the next week, actually.
No, it was the next day.
Was it the next day? Oh, yeah, because your nanny made us fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, yeah. So we got up, we get to the stadium and the door and opened the car anyway, and Kane hadn't gotten there yet, and I was venting over it. This was a fucking waste of my time. It was the shittest thing I've ever seen. It was a fucking shambles. Everything is shite. It needs to burn to the ground, basically, was my opinion of it. And in the distance, all you could see was this fucking blue hairbrush walking up the road, and I just went, Kane, and he froze. And Kane is one of these people where it's not like he doesn't really talk that much until you really get to know him. Now he knew me quite well at this point, but he was just like, please don't kill me. He wouldn't come up. All I said was his name, and I just stared at him. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but that's really. It's honestly when I accidentally made you go outside. When I was talking to people and I turned around and saw you standing behind me, it's frightening. It's like there it is. She's staring a hole through me right now.
No, our camera just froze there. That's all.
No, but like, no, but like another thing, like Keen's humor is just like so. It's so funny. Like at the last KRFC show, me, Keen, and Oren were all just doing rap battles against each other. Like we sat there for 2 hours just doing rap battles for no apparent. Oh no, because we were inside and it was raining, and there was nothing to do. Like we're all in a cramped area, so it's just like, all right. So we have to find something on the wall and make that into a rap, but an insult at the same time. So
I still cannot believe that Joe forgot there was a fucking early entry to that goddamn show.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. I've never been more, because he saw me and Linus stand there, and I was like going like that through the door, been like, what the fuck? And he comes over and he's like, what? And I'm like, what's the point of selling early entry if you're not doing an early entry like in? I paid for early entry. And he just looked at me, and then it's like, oh shit, I did. And he was like, I forgot, let me get the phone. I was like, you fucking prick. I was fucking raging over that. I was so cold that entire show.
Didn't Linus nearly hit Vicky Haskins with the door that day as well?
He didn't. No, he didn't nearly hit her. He did not nearly hit her. He hit her with the door.
Ouch.
Now, to be fair, she apologized to him, and Linus was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she goes, no, just I got away.
He thought she was a fan. Brilliant.
I love her.
Oh, good old Linus. Love Linus.
I love Vicky Haskins.
I do. I like her too. Like that. You want to hate her. You want to hate her,
no,
but she's
don't.
No, you don't. You don't.
She's one of these people where you're like, I understand. Like, okay, I need to hate your character. I really need to hate your character. But then, like, as soon as she's like away from it, and she's all like, "Hi," you're like, "I love you so much. Adopt me."
It's horrible.
Like, oh, I can't. It's so bad.
I did it. I went to Haskins recently. I said, I love you as a heel, but I fucking hate you as a heel because he would make me laugh. Because he's that like smart ass dickhead when he's a heel.
It's when,
but he's so good at it.
He's
just like, he's really good at it.
He's brilliant, and I hate the people that don't. There's people that just, some of the people I sit with at the shows are just saying that all he is, like, he's criticizing him. I'm like, you have to realize what his character is. He's fantastic at what he does. That first match, that is so different from what's like an intense Terry Thatcher feud that he had with like Justy and thing, and he did it, and he did that role to perfection. It's versatility in the ring. Like, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that's not even that. It was a match for the sake of it, but that was the good thing about it. It was just like this is Haskins, who's very clearly like out of everyone's league, but that's the whole point. It's just like, seriously, you booked me to do this? All right, fine, I'll just fucking style on these bastards. Like, that's the whole idea of the match. And it's a shame that people didn't get that, but fuck him.
Yeah, and he came out and he was like, the rugby team, and everyone was just like, what the fuck is he talking about? There's a rugby team going on. It's like, I didn't get onto my rugby team. It's like, oh, it's just like.
But that's the thing. Like, you want to hate him, but he's so good at it. And he's funny when he does it.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
And then afterwards, and then again, he's just so bloody lovely.
Oh, he is.
He's actually so bloody lovely. You're just like, oh, you're such a fucking prick. Boo, boo, Haskins, boo. See you in hell. At the merch stand. Hi, hey.
I think we should use this podcast to list who are the nice people in wrestling. Like, he'd be in the list though, wouldn't he? Like, this,
yes.
Who's part of Team Lovely for everybody?
Like, that's also opening the door for the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Me and Butch have to be careful of that one.
Yeah.
Tread the wall there.
Podcast after dark. Foxy somehow I don't know what he's done, right? But sometime in the future, Foxy and or Butch have done something, and they're like removed from OTT. You're no longer ever allowed to work in this business again. And then Foxy's like, right? And then Foxy's like, tell all podcast, right? Here's everything.
Shoot, brother.
Goes on to
Question
Talk
mark
is Jericho,
Martina.
yeah.
Fucking
Talk is
absolute
Foxy.
bitch.
Talk is Foxy.
Talk is Foxy. You can guarantee Jericho would name that "Let's Get Foxy" or something. It's definitely it's just
Let's get Foxy, baby.
But, like,
let's
if you want to talk about, like, obviously, like, dunno, who are the nicest people in wrestling, it tends to be like the people that you're supposed to hate.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
They
yeah.
tend to be the ones that are the most lovely. I mean,
I was going to throw Zach Gibson into that because I bought a shirt of him one time, the Tiv, and he said, and he asked me for a picture. It was like, sorry, I know, like, you're a bad guy, you don't normally do this, but that's not how it's supposed to work. I was going to ask you for the picture.
Yeah.
But he just said, no, I just don't do the mesh stand that much. I just wanted to get a memento. It's like, all right, fair, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
And just got a picture.
Actually, that was my thing with him actually as well, because I was like, anytime he was over in OTT, I was like, I can't get a picture with him at OTT at all, because it's just like I'm not comfortable doing. I'm like, no, I fucking hate you, sort of thing. But when we went over, I think it was the Strong Style the first year, and him and James Drake were doing merch, I was like, this is gonna be my only chance actually to get a picture with him.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go and do it now. And he was one of the nicest, like legit, like nicest people I've ever spoken to. Like,
I'm
they're
so-
oh,
he's
him
a
and
Liverpool
James
fan,
were
so he doesn't
lovely.
count.
That's the thing, Jonathan. And how do you react when that entrance hits? Because everyone's booing, and I'm just like, that's the anthem of the team I support. I'm just gonna sit here and nod my head to the song.
It's a very weird duality because I still kind of play along, but not with booing the theme. Like, once the music stops, then I start booing Gibson.
Yeah,
that kind of way.
Exactly.
It's that kind of weird thing where it's like, I have no qualms with the music. Like there's a certain sentimentality to that, but once that's off, all right, fine, you're fucking shit.
See, no, like, my booing gets lighter. My booing gets lighter when the music stops. Like,
And
once I hear
which
Liverpool
team do you support again, Tony?
I will not disclose this. Chelsea.
Sorry, I believe I heard Chelsea there. Was it Chelsea? Was it Chelsea? It was Chelsea,
yes,
wasn't it? Yeah. Right.
Chelsea fans
Frank
shouldn't hate
Lampard's
Liverpool.
Chelsea. Chelsea fans don't exist. They were never fucking happened.
What?
like, to
They
me,
don't
like,
exist,
one person that, like, I actually genuinely loved interacting with them was ACH when we had him. Absolutely loved him.
He just had a bad, like, I don't know what happened to him when he went to WWE, but he just.
Well,
I think we know what happened to him when he went to
Look,
WWE.
like,
they were racist.
WWE isn't for
It's
everyone.
just like,
it's
like,
really not.
everyone's established that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not for everyone. You may think you want it, but, like, when you're there, it might be not what you think.
It's not the right
Because
environment.
everyone has like so much expectation for it. It's like, I want to get WWE. I want to get WWE. You finally get there, and it's not what you wanted it to be.
It might suit some people, but
yes.
some
People are more suited to it than others. But, like,
it's just a whole load of.
some people are probably meant more for a different place. Like, look at some of the people that didn't make it in WWE. They're huge stars in, say, Ring of Honor or New Japan. Like, or now in AEW, they're going to start building on people as well.
Yeah,
So,
like, I'm gonna, like, I don't know if this is a bit of a hot take or controversial opinion, but when you see a lot of people on social media go on about NXT UK, and a lot of wrestlers, like, go on to NXT UK, like, it works well for some, but it works well for others. And I do get, like, why some of the criticisms for NXT UK come about, because they feel like there's a lot of people who haven't really made their mark yet, haven't really made their name in an independent circuit or around their area, and they're just jumping the gun and going with WWE. Now, in saying that, like, a lot of them are fantastic wrestlers, but, like, they are kind of thrown in the curve. But at the same time, when you're working at something, it's like, if you're working any job and someone told you, do you want to go up higher? Do you want to get a promotion? A lot of the time, some people go for it. You want the promotion.
Your head takes over.
So, like, there is some wrestlers that do get a bit of heat for that. But, like, you also do have to, like, see them from their own standpoint of, like, okay, I need to do this for my family now. Maybe I'm not making what I need in independent wrestling, so I need to. And, like, I'm one of them people that do get both sides of the spectrum. Like, there is people that will, like, go fully off on NXT UK wrestlers because they call them, like, sellouts or certain stuff, or they don't get to see them. But also, like, you know, as someone who's around these people, I'm delighted for them. I'm delighted to see people that I like are my acquaintances and my peers in, say, Irish wrestling getting contracts, because like they're doing well and they must be doing something right to get it into WWE. Because like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it must be easy getting a contract in NXT UK."
It is
From
not.
what I hear, it is not. It is opposite.
It's extremely hard.
I think
Extremely hard to get a contract in any promotion, any company.
It's like that. But you might think, but why isn't this guy going here? Because he's a lot better than this. But maybe there's something that the person you're not that fond of has over your favorite, who you would like say would be a better fit for it. But like, yeah, and you get that. And what going back to what we were saying is like, there's some people that go to WWE and fold and do better in New Japan. Like that's kind of part of the learning experience.
It's a learning curve.
That's a learning curve. We got Juice Robinson, Kenta. Could name it fucking.
Like some people take longer than others, and some people take to it a lot faster. It's just the way it is.
It is though another way of things as well, is because there is, everyone used to always say, oh well, there's your way and then there's the WWE way. And some people, I don't think they don't really realize, I was like, oh, well, I'll be able to do that, no worries. And then when they actually get to do it, and it's like, I cannot actually do this. And you will not get anywhere. And you're like, you know what? This is not where I need to be. This is not how I like to work. This is not going to work for me. And then they leave and they go somewhere else that's more suited to what they are, to what they're used to or what they prefer to do. And that's kind of the way like, it would work at it. But like, I'm kind of like in Butch on this. I'd never like look at somebody and be like, oh, well, fuck you for taking that. I'm like, I don't know what their situation is. I don't know what like, it's what they want to. It's their life. Like, I'd be unhappy over the fact I'm like, oh, I don't get to see that person now every month.
That's exactly what
but
it is.
It's also his point is, that's also a thing as well, though. But I'm like, well, I'm not really entitled to that though anyway either.
Yeah, that's what
like,
it is.
100%.
It's not my
realistically,
decision.
Realistically, they're going to retire 20 years before a normal person would anyway, so they have to do their money work as quickly as possible anyway.
I mean, Jesus Christ, like, if someone said to me, here, you can have €100 a week, but you may not be able to work all the time, so you might not have that, or we can give you €1,200 a week, you're guaranteed to get this whether you're working or not.
Yeah.
What are you going to prefer? Hello, I'm going to take the one for the 1,200. At least I'm guaranteed that money.
I mean, I've said it. I've made no secret about it. It's the fact that like, for a wrestler, it's very difficult to get booked abroad and get to these places. But it is unbelievably much harder for the likes of, say, me as a referee or Butch as an announcer to get booked anywhere outside of our country. For the likes of that, like, it's, if someone, say for example for WWE UK, would offer a contract, of course I'm taking it. It's just the way it is.
That's kind of it for me. That's the same for me. You see, like, and Foxy, you'll probably vouch with me as well. Like, there is a lot of wrestlers who will be able to financially support themselves in a full-time wrestling situation as a wrestler. But as someone like me or Foxy, who are like a role on the show, but like are used very less frequently in all over in other places, it's kind of like, you know, it's very scarce. So if like something comes up, you know,
it's like one of those things. It's like, it'll be like one of those things. So let's say, for example, if in Butch's situations, like, oh, well, you're a ring announcer. That's grand. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 promotions on the island in total. Let's say 2 of them are up north. One is up north. One is down south, and then you have like 2 in Dublin. So like for you, there's 4 options, but realistically, down south and up north are going to be like, well, we're not going to get someone from Dublin to do it when we have someone who sits in the fucking front row who could possibly do this, because they have experience doing it in something else.
And even in Dublin, and this is something I do respect and I understand. Like, there's people who would like I do OTT. They wouldn't book me in, like, say, somewhere else, like a Fight Factory room, because they don't want the show like something else. They want it to be their own identity. Now, I understand why Foxy people
will look at this, being like, "Oh, Butch is doing this. Oh, it must be something to do with OTT."
Yeah, like, and like I understand why like Foxy does, because like, you know, ring announcers are like, I think referees are a little bit more rarer in Ireland than, you know.
Referees, there is only
referees.
3.
I can think of 3.
Yeah, I think in total
4, maybe.
So
do you do
myself?
Who does?
Myself, Haley, the Tiny,
Yeah.
Haley Stewart. Sorry, a guy called Tommy McNulty, and there's a lad down in Cork that they're training, Ryan Bell. Done 4 in the country. That's it.
4.
And out of them 4.
Sake.
So I've been doing it 10 years this year as a referee, and Tommy has been doing it for a long time as well. But how often do you see Tommy? Like,
to be fair though, that was one of those things where there was I think there was like a promotion in Belfast. Tommy is a Belfast referee, and yet I think they actually still went for somebody else altogether, and it was somebody that they didn't know or that nobody knew.
They imported
a
lad from England.
Yeah, I'm still like, you have a referee. Why don't you use the referee sort of for that?
It's like boy Irish in a person sense. Just use your homegrown talent. Like if you're going to be importing people, it just looks a bit bad if there's a ref there ready from Ireland.
Yeah,
it's also not having enough faith in the local talent. Because that's a very old mentality from when like Irish wrestling wasn't at the level it is now, where you always felt like you had to get these British lads in, you have to get the European American lads in, or because like us Irish lads don't know what to do it. Like it's completely different now. Like when you do have people who like I said, Foxy is by far, in my opinion, the best referee in Europe, let alone fucking Ireland. You know, that's my personal opinion from seeing his work over years and years. But the fact is that with Ireland, because we've expanded to such the level we are now, even with just 4 promotions, like those 4 promotions are fighting the Alamo compared to the UK and Europe. You know what I mean? So in that sense, like the fact that we've maximized the talent that we have already is an accomplishment, you know.
And the All Irish show from OTT just proved the All Irish show in the summer last summer.
Like, I think with Irish wrestling, it feels like in the UK with the quantity of promotion, it's like, right, everyone's trying to fight with each other. Where in Irish wrestling, it seems a lot of the time, it's promotions trying to work together and not try and get the upper hand on one promotion, you know? And like, you know, you'd have your OTT, right, which is like, without a doubt, and like you can agree, is the cream of the crop. Then you have Fight Factory, who would be the show that, like, you know, you just want to go for a nice casual show, but still has a fucking extortionate amount of great talent there. You know,
and they keep producing it. That's the amazing thing. They keep producing.
They're very consistent.
Yeah. They are very consistent. Like, you know, you might see, say, More Than Hype on OTT and Fight Factory, but there could be people who are like fairly new, only doing Fight Factory, who you could see go up to OTT. So it's almost like a tier level, which I think is like, I'm such a nerd for that and like watching sports and like playing sports video games. I like seeing like people go from the bottom all the way to the top.
Road to Glory.
Seeing that. It's Road to Glory. It's like when Rock Shandy like went from the OTT contender shows, from a Fight Factory, from being a Fight Factory mainstay and coming up. Like the reaction, the welcoming into the OTT audience was fantastic. And like there is a lot of Fight Factory lads, nowadays, and I'm gonna list a few of them off. Like Flamboyant Fabio, he's doing fantastic stuff for himself, like current Irish junior heavyweight champion. Love to see him in OTT in the next 3 months after the plague. Guys like Big Rab. Big Rab is one of the like brightest, one of the most beloved wrestlers, and he hasn't even made it to OTT yet, and that's saying something, because when he gets there, he's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And there's so much other wrestlers that we haven't heard of that are probably training that, like, I have not been around the training school in probably 2 years, and there's probably people that I have not seen yet that will rise to the cream of the crop. And another one from a School of Irish Wrestling standpoint, Kelly August Lynch, who wrestled one match. Yes. And that was a brilliant match, and they did fantastically. And when they get up to OTT soon, it's going to be fantastic. You know, and we have like a bit of and it's the fact that people from around the world are traveling sometimes to OTT just to train, not to do seminars or something, just to train. Like Thiago Monteiro, from Portugal, came over, and he had a bit of a like, and I didn't know this until I like met him. He had a pretty decent resume in Portugal, and he's wrestled some really good like names. He's wrestled Mark Haskins, and like just him being able to come over and train with us and like make Ireland his wrestling home, like that's fantastic. Remember
is that the one that looked like Nick Jonas?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say Nick Jonas, but anyways,
it was Nick Jonas.
It was fucking Nick Jonas. I'm sorry, me and whoever I was sitting with at that show.
It was me and Amy.
Was it me and you, or was
it was just like he's sick. No, because
two of us got a picture, and we were
I mean, like the fact that we're at that standard that like people are willing to move over here to train because they want to get better. It's on the same kind of deal as like people moving to the UK because they want to get better, and plus because WWE is UK is there, they have a better shot because they live local.
It is so another thing though as well. I think I said this actually before. It's like it is kind of gotten to a point now where Ireland is actually like an untapped resource that people are really now starting to take advantage of. Because it's gotten to a point where you have, I think the way it works in like the UK now, it is a bit more oversaturated with what they have. And there is an awful lot of names, and they're all trying to get onto the same shows, and you do end up kind of seeing the same people each time.
Too much of a good thing, kind of.
Exactly, but when you look at like when people come over to Ireland though, and they're doing it, it's kind of like, well, we haven't seen these ones before, but chances are they might not be able to get onto the UK shows either. Because like, oh well, we already have someone like you on our show, or we already have this. Whereas to us,
it'd be like a fish out of water, basically.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas with us now here, it's like, no, it's very much like you have something that you can teach us and we have something that you can learn. And it works really well. The UK scene doesn't seem to really have that anymore. Now they're kind of like, no, we have our established stars. We'll wait until we need you.
It's like
that kind of the way it is.
They're like the eyes that are on OTT as well. Like when you see people like Naito coming in, like Gorillas of Destiny coming in, like there's mad amount of people just putting their eyes on it, and then these younger people, like say a Scotty Davis who gets to wrestle Jushin Thunder Liger, like they get a mad like following off that, because it's like, who's this young kid that just had a great match with Jushin Thunder Liger, a guy
which is massive in itself.
Just Scotty's been in Kirk and Hall now as well, watching shows with Will and stuff. It's just to see his fucking rise. And speaking of Butch's hunger, and when he was mentioning Kelly's Lynch, when I was speaking to them, Dara with Dara Lynch, he was talking about like he lives in Leash and how he gets the training. He told a story of how he was cycling on his bike, and he at 2:00 in the morning to get home from training, and he fell asleep when he was riding his bike on the way home from training in Dublin, and some woman had to pick him up in his car when he was gushing blood, and like bring him back to his house. The hunger and the drive for someone to like go from all the way to the school from Leash and cycle home at 2:00 in the morning just to make their dream like come true. It's fantastic to see.
I'd like to speak to social services there actually as well. I just want to just have a word with his parents on that one.
I don't know what's the worst part about that. He fell and cracked his head open, or he lives in Leash.
No, he's Oh no, but honestly, I've never seen someone so passionate about pro wrestling when you speak to Dara Lynch. Honestly, it's honestly crazy.
Like, to be honest, like with Ireland, like if you were to like isolate like certain parts, you could actually take your pick of the people that could be potentially the big assets for the whole Irish scene in the next few years. I mean, if you take a look at like Cork, then you have obviously like Matt Schuyler, and you have the likes of Raven Creed, and but you have other talent on the way. You can handpick them. If you go up north, you have the likes of a Stephen Carvel or the likes of a Sonic Boom. A great tag team with only a handful of fucking matches, and it's just like those three especially. I was just like, I had to message Joe straight away. It's like, you are gonna want these. You're gonna want these people because they're gonna be good. And even here,
I think it's also It's also that we also have an incredible pedigree. Yeah, like I was actually just about to make this point. It's even in Dublin, you have such an incredible pedigree from other people. Like the amount of people you can learn from in Dublin alone is astounding. And again, like, personally, I don't think you even get the same education in England, because you have so many different like voices coming at you, whereas everyone kind of comes from the same cloth almost. Like you do have a Joe Cabray, you have a Phil Boyd, you have a Katie Harvey, you have a Paul Tracy. There's so many others, like Jordan Devlin. Like there's so many, but they're all coming from the same premise. They're all kind of like all in the same almost same generation, and they all know what works and what doesn't. And you can all go to these different people for different aspects.
They all, that's something as well, because like every single one of them, I think they actually all have experience as well with working within what a massive wrestling promotion would work in as well.
Exactly,
so they kind of they have an inkling as, okay, well, this is how it works there. This is what works for them. This is what didn't work in their view, and then they're able to amend that to how, and then like do it in their own kind of sense, in their own way of training things as well. And that's
especially
a great way
Devlin.
of looking at it.
Yeah, like, especially Devlin, because out of all the NXT UK guys, he's the one person I actually looked at and said he's the success out of that roster. But because he actually took a ball and ran with it, in my opinion, from whatever he gave him, like, just where to work.
But the thing is with Devlin though as well, because like let's say, look at this, right? So he's working now with NXT UK now, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has done unreal things in Ireland anyway. He also, how long was he in Japan for as well?
4 years.
Yeah.
A few
he had,
years,
I think it was 3 tours.
Right,
yeah,
so he's had 3 tours to Japan. Right, so he's worked with, who knows what he's actually, who he'd worked with in Japan. I'm not going to attempt to try and name names here. We all know that I am not smart when it comes to Japanese.
It would have been mainly with 0-1 over there.
Right, so Zero, thank you. Okay, so he was working with 0-1, who have their own way, obviously, of how they train people and stuff like that. I think, do they do like the dojo and stuff like that?
Yes, 0-1. Right? So you have to like say Maxer, then Jordan, then Paul Tracy has done it, Phil Boyd has done it.
Michael May has done it.
Michael May is the recent one that went there.
Yeah. And he's a trainer in Fight Clubs or Fight Factory. Jesus Christ!
Yes,
Fight Factory as well.
The great thing about Fight Factory is that like the training for Fight Factory is split in the terms of like, right, you have Michael who'll teach you all this like technical stuff as well as like how the dojo works, how the fucking how even WWE UK would work. Phil is the most experienced. He has similar like experiences, but he's a great coach. Fantastic coach. Katie is great for like dealing with obviously the girls and giving it a great perspective about like how girls should move, how they should work. Then LJ is also like the new crop as well to like give you bits of everything.
Like, I'll be honest. Yeah. Like, I'd be honest. Like, looking at it at this point of view, if I was looking to start training things here, I'd find it to be more very intimidating. It would be in the UK to start doing it as opposed to if I was doing it in Ireland. And reason being why I would find it so intimidating in this sense here is because the only real, okay, so if you're looking at Eve, it's not a great example for people who run it, I would suppose. Like, I'm not going to use that, but like that's mainly focused on the fierce females, right? So this is mainly, we're going to deal with women and only women. That's kind of like their view on it, right? Well, however, if you look at like a few of kind of like the female wrestlers who have come up in the UK and stuff like that, it is mainly, oh well, this is where I went to wrestle. Whereas in Ireland, Katie would be like, well, we understand that some women won't be comfortable working with men straight off the bat. It's a very contact sport, wrestling is. There's an awful lot of touching involved. And some people would be very put off by that. I'm not saying there's like anything in that sense, but it can be quite intimidating. But Katie is one of these people who's very much like, if you find it uncomfortable to start with, that's fine. You can still come and train. We do have female trainers. Mm-hmm. I don't know any female. Who's the female trainers in the UK?
I don't know.
There's probably a few scattered around.
But there is a few.
That's what I mean. There is a few scattered around, but you never see them promoting anything to come out and do it, and because they get such a backlash when they do that.
I know, as far as like people who do train female wrestlers, I know one of the more renowned ones would be Wild Boar. He does it over in Dragon Pro Wrestling Academy.
That's what I mean. Like, he promotes it though as this is a women's class sort of thing. and it's done that way. But it's also like it is a sense. What I mean is, the way I'm kind of putting it is, it's kind of like if there were like in the UK when they kind of promote women-only classes, they seem to get an awful lot of backlash for it. Whereas the way Katie goes about, Katie explains her reasoning. Well, this is why I promote a women's only class.
Yeah.
What's the fella? The fucking UFC training Coach Kavanagh?
Coach Kavanagh.
Yeah, John Kavanagh. Yeah.
Do you remember? Not too long ago, there was a whopper string of attacks on women. Right, and he straight off the bat said, "Right, from now on, I'm doing free women-only classes for self-defense." And everyone hailed him as a fucking hero over the whole thing. And in my mind, I was thinking, a lot of people have done that before, and they all got called out on like saying it was bullshit to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens a lot, I think, in the UK for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the big thing about that is that he has to follow through. So like I can imagine that some of them didn't. That's probably why.
Trust me, this Coach Kavanagh actually did follow through.
Oh no. I believe that he would. Yeah. But I'm just
proper went in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's like a kind of a difference in that case, whereas he's got such a big name off Conor McGregor anyway.
Yeah,
like he's going to be given that, like, if he does something that is morally good, he's going to be seen as the good guy, obviously.
But I think
other people do it. It's just like, well, that's not fair because.
Yeah, no, I think. I think that the point I was trying to make though on it is, I think Ireland, it seems to be more accepted in Ireland to have a legit reason. As behind, this is why I'm going to do a women's only class. But when you do that outside, in like any time they've attempted to do it in the UK or even when they're doing it in America, they always seem to get a whopper backlash from it.
Yeah, but we're a developed nation, so.
Yeah, I think to like see, and this is kind of like, I know Session Mott is a certain person who's been trained, like she started training with male wrestlers because there was a very, very small pool of female wrestlers now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that like nowadays you can do an all-female like wrestling class with good numbers. So like in my opinion, there's like one way. Like there's no, in my opinion, there's no wrong way. If there's promotions, training schools that do an all-women like training class, that's pretty cool. Like that's like very good, you know, because I know there's a few like women's wrestlers or upcoming women's wrestlers who might feel a bit, you know, taken aback at doing like interacting with men for some reason, but like so they would feel like they need to do an all-females one because for their own comfort, and then they'll be able to fit in. Or there's some people that just want to be doing all the classes. So there is like good in everything. Like whether you do it like mixed gender training or all-female training, you know, in my opinion, there's no real kind of difference. You know, if you want to do one way, fair play.
Because like I said, it was more so from necessity initially because, like I said, like Martina would have been one of the 4 or 5 only women wrestlers. So because
I think that's originally why it actually came about. It was like if you want to try it, but you're intimidated by doing it with the lads, we'll do a women's only class. It is kind of like you can learn the basics in this sort of thing, or maybe like 3 or 4 classes in this. Get you a bit comfortable as to what's going to happen, and then straight away you'd be throwing the lads around. Then no issues.
Yeah, exactly. It's that initial fear factor of it, and then you actually you learn to trust the people involved. Then
it's not even that. You never know. Like even when you join a gym for the first time, male or female, you always have that slight intimidation. It's like, oh, do I want to start working out in front of everybody? Because you know most people have already been here for like so many months. It's
like I've no clue what to be doing, so like I don't want people looking at me.
And then you have got people who are kind of like, they're really impatient with you, and like you're using a machine that they want to use, and then they're just like, it's very off-putting. And I used to have that. That's like a massive fear I would have, is like if I was trying to do like training for the first time, and you've like, it's my first class, and then there's a load of lads there who have been doing it like 3 or 4 classes or 3 or 4 months even at a time doing it. And then you're only learning. That is really intimidating. You're like, oh shit, I don't want to be slowing everything else down, and I don't want to be the laughing stock either.
Yeah. Like as I said earlier, like some people take to it a lot faster and some people take a lot longer.
Yeah.
But in that sense, the people that probably take longer are probably the ones that are going to be more adaptive to, say for example, like being a character or being a promo, like great promo, or have great wrestling skill. Whereas people that take to it a lot quicker, they may get the wrestling skill, but they're probably sorely lacking the likes of a promo or a look or this. It's always the case. You're always missing
It's
something.
it's getting harder and harder to find somebody that has every single quality.
There's something in it.
And that's
I mean, there is one thing. It's like some lads are absolutely cracking when you watch them have a match, and then you watch one of their recorded promos, and you're just like, "Oh, stop!"
Yes.
Can we get Paul Heyman in just for you? Like,
it's always the same. It's always the same. It's like,
it's like,
one
you
of
were
the
doing
things
so
that's
well,
very
and then
lacking
you
nowadays is the lack of managers.
I would love to see.
Like if back in 2006 and 2010, you had like the odd couple of managers scattered here and there, but there wasn't many great ones. And even
it's a real shame.
They're used very sparingly. Because a manager could really help like people who are lacking on the likes of a promo, and also it really restricts on the kind of stories that you could tell on a show without a manager.
Tony Kelly and Michael May is a perfect example. Them down in Cork fantastic, like perfect. And the thing is,
see, I didn't want to name names on that one, but Rian has no issue with naming names.
No, I'm saying that from their perspective, that whole thing, the big win, make it open challenge, is fantastic.
And it's the biggest act in Cork.
It's
like
and
realistically.
And talking about like a more mainstream one, I think they missed a boat on AOP when they took Paul Ellering off them. I know apparently it was travel issues, but when they had Paul Ellering and he was just coming out cutting these promos, and then AOP would go in and just they had these great matches with the Revival and who else? The Revival and DIY, and you just had Paul Ellering like in the shark cage. People, no? It was fantastic. Revival and DIY are two different teams. It was just fantastic. I thought Paul Ellering was brilliant.
Yeah, but that's a very good point, because that shows you the power of the manager as well. It shows you the power of the manager though, because like AOP then without a manager like Ellering were in a way quite exposed over like what they were lacking. It took them so long then to get back up to the level where they do have character and personality, and I completely agree with you on that front, where like managers just generally are lacking in indie wrestling, because I think like that's how indie wrestling was always perceived to be, just wrestlers. But at the same token, now that you have like indie wrestling shows, like in the same way, like you have like Stokey Hathaway is a great example. Like he's gone to promotions where like there's an actual show involved, as opposed to just like, and here's some wrestling, because then you do need characters like that to continue on storylines, to continue on the flow of the show, and just even then just to warm up a crowd or to warm up a wrestler, that sort of stuff. Like that's a lost art, especially in wrestling.
I love Wee Man and ICW. Wee Man and ICW was brilliant. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen much of that.
He's just a general hype man, but he works. That's all he needs to do.
Because he has that annoying accent. It's like, because he comes out and with the Bookie Boys and they're drinking Buck Fizz, and he comes out and just starts screaming at people in like this thick Scottish accent. You're like, that's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've always been of the opinion, like if I ever did go into like the wrestling training or anything like that, I'd never want to be an actual wrestler. I always wanted to be a manager, because that very idea of trying to get under people's skin, trying to get people to hate me or like me, whichever way it is, and to entertain people that way without taking one bump would be fucking accomplishment in anyone's book. And
the unfortunate thing is, even managers have to bump at some point.
Still need to train, I know that, but that's like just the actual being able to get that aspect of the wrestling world down would be what I'd be aiming for, rather than learning how to do a flip. You know what I mean?
I'm like to say my kind of piece on wrestling and characters, like, and I do kind of love the whole. I'm gonna think back to kind of like I went down a rabbit hole of like wrestling articles last night while watching the UFC, in between fights, and you look at someone like Kenta Kobashi, who like his gimmick was not his like persona. His gimmick was what his style was. Yeah. Like his gimmick of like burning desire, like, and burning spirit. And I think when some people are thinking of a character, like there's a lot of people that fall into the trap. They don't know, all right, can my character be something in my wrestling that like has a bit of a storyline to it, Like kind of a visual one would be Cowboy Bob Orton. I know a character there, you're thinking, oh, he's a cowboy. But like one of the like character things that he had with him was his
cast, the broken arm.
Like, and there is wrestlers, like if there's sometimes like the wrestler can't. I don't feel like I could be like charismatic, like have a wacky character that's very eye catching. Maybe I can do something in my wrestling skill that has a character that I can go with. And if that like goes very well, then that could be something they can latch onto. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's kind of like, and like there is certain wrestlers that don't really need a character, which is fantastic. But like to have something there with you is like something to do.
It's like something that's like you're memorable anyway, but sometimes you can just have that one thing that will kind of just push you over the edge, like push you over
marketable
to a point where you're like, no, I'm never gonna forget this person, like sort of thing. Like that's what you kind of have.
Bobby George Jr. It was fucking with Jose as a manager.
With Tony Idol.
Tony Idol,
yeah.
I mean, that was very funny because when Tony Idol first came in, even Butch's kind of acting towards it, you're kind of like, what the fuck is this guy? Like, who the fuck are you? Get away from it. But then he became one of the fucking greatest things that we've ever seen. And all he literally was just an announcer.
Yeah. I've got a bone to pick with him, by the way. Got a bone to pick with him. Go ahead, Rena. Sorry. I'll continue after that.
Oh, no, I was just saying the Tivoli moment I wish I was a part of all of them was the big drinking game they had going on during the Bobby George Jr. and Zach Gibson match.
Oh, the double.
Where he had everybody just drinking every time. It was just like, fucking hell, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I said, I think it was Adam Maxted versus Bobby George, right, in the Tivoli. The very lesser spotted Adam Maxted Tivoli matches, right? And we like often sitting on the stage. We were the front row, right? And we're having the crack, and Tony's there standing beneath us, right? And I come up with a line going, what was it? It was no carbs versus all carbs in this match, and it's all chuckles around my area, right? So then a couple of minutes in, Tony walks into the ring to do the post-match interview, and he says the exact same line. Well, Bobby, that was no carbs versus all carbs, wasn't it? And if you look back in the VOD, you can just see him in the corner of the shot going, what the fuck? That's my fucking joke! And you can just see me going ape shit at Tony Idol. Never forgave him for that. Little shit stole my joke.
I'm actually just thinking, do you remember, Butch, you'll remember this, and I'd say, it was for a Zach Gibson match, and this is when our row had constantly had the signs in. Do you remember we printed off a load of O's, one S, one N, and a load of O's, and it was enough. It was enough for the entire front row of the stage seats. And as soon as I think at one point it was like you can see me and Nathan. I remember being like, he came out and we were like, sign. Pull up the fucking signs, and then everyone just had it up. It was like my favorite thing ever.
Sorry,
because what made it even better was just Gibson was just fuck off.
You're supposed to hate me.
He's got
it was a real and he spent ages he went through. You can see he's thinking. In his mind, he's like, shit, I can't say soon now because they're all fucking waiting for it to happen just so they can. And he prolonged until the very end, and he went, soon! And everyone was
I wish he just said nearly or something. Just pisses all off.
Imminent!
Imminently!
So we did something...
on the verge of happening.
We did something similar to that. I don't know what match it was, but it was I think it was Paul Tracy was back in a match for some reason, and so we revived the Tracy estate for one night. So our plan was to get do you know what it was? The ward section weren't in. It was Al and Claire's wedding. So we had thought, we'd be smart now. We'll get the front row and replace them completely, and do the whole Tracy estate malarkey back then. Fucking thing. What happened, Amy? What happened? You come up the front row, didn't you? Yes, you fucking did.
Not only did we take the front row, but we also had a load of session section signs in the front row that overtook every Tracy estate sign that was in the place. We brought a flag.
Oh yeah, do you remember you put it on your crust? Isn't that when you said?
Yeah. That was another time. Yeah. But that was another time. So we were relegated to the back row in fucking in the other side. We can still see us on VOD because I used to drag my mates over to these shows, and one of them in particular was Aaron, who is the most awkward human being you ever meet. He's like corporate Keane times 10, and we basically and here's the thing, right? So he got us to sit down, right? and he's like on the outer seat, so the rest of us couldn't be seen. And we said, "Here, just hold this," and it's a Tracy Estate sign. And fair play to him, for about 3.5 hours, he sat motionless holding the sign as if we had bought him as a fucking mobile advertisement. But the other thing we did for that show, right? The other thing we did for that show, my friend Neil of the That Was Like a Football podcast, he's just subscribed to on Spotify. He got dressed up as a hitman, right? He has the fucking hitman suit, right? Because we're all suiting up for this. And what he had done as well, he had printed out. He had access to a pretty swish printer in work, and what he did was he printed out a whole rake of dollar bills, OTT dollar bills, right? And this is going to sound very familiar if you're a J Money fan, but we did this like a year and a half before he did. So just saying,
shooting on everybody.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah, man. I'm honestly, like, the amount of ideas that's been nicked out of us is disgusting. But here's the thing, like, so we just spent like the 15, 20 minutes just handing out like money to everyone else. And I'm fairly sure in the Tivoli there's still like a big pile of like Martina dollars hidden out. Because we had Martina down as like the $1. Paul Tracy was like the highest denomination, it was like 500, whatever it was. I think we had Justy down as a $5, I think. And I think Devlin was 100 or something like that. But there's a few, and fucking Charlie Sterling had dollars, which is just ironic. We just had to put that in. But like we just like kept throwing money around the place for the entire show. It was great fucking crack. And it was just like, haha, that was a funny joke. Here, take this money. And just throwing it at people's faces like that, making it rain.
Nathan was
I think even yeah.
Sorry, no, go on.
No, that was it. Sorry, I was going to say we did in the Jippo as well. So
Nathan was a great one for signs that constantly got like torn up on him. And one of the most recent OTT gems that was on was it was Jordan versus Moose. And at this particular show, we found a photo of Jordan Devlin. It was yes. It was when he had the mustache, right? So John was like, I don't want to print this out unless, because it's just gonna get ripped up. So John went off and got this laminated. And I think what made me funny was like, I think Ali so he got it blown up and he laminated this fucking picture. So when Jordan came out, because this is when Jordan was in like the heat of heel, like his heel run. Like,
social elite phase, yeah.
And we were holding up the sign and he went to rip it and it wouldn't rip, but he just threw it back at us. It's like, you fucking pricks.
It's like with the in England.
And then like 20 minutes into the match and he does the leap from the stage straight away. We took out the sign. We're just like, we can't rip the sign.
He's over now. That's
like,
it.
Oh crap! It's like we lost it now.
It's
like we will never see this again. It was just.
I was slagging off over the Balor thing, wasn't it? Or
there was a Finn Balor. Yeah, so there was a Dr. Evil.
Even Princess.
There was a Doctor. All right, that one did not go down well. Actually, there was one that we had. It was Finn Balor and Jordan Devlin as Dr. Evil and Mini Me, and it was Finny.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. Now, he did laugh at that one, to be fair. But I think it was the first time four of us had gone to one of the Belfast shows in the Mandela Hall and we got balcony seating. And an awful lot of the Belfast fans weren't travelling down to Tivoli shows, right? At the time, there wasn't really an awful lot of travelling going down, right? And what happened was there was 4 dubs at the top of the balcony. Jordan Devlin's match came out and me and Ali screamed at the top of our lungs, Demon Princess.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we just saw Jordan just turn and look as if to say, fuck.
Don't you fucking start.
Don't fucking start that shit. And what made it worse was clearly the Nordy fans hadn't heard this chant yet.
Oh no.
And then they started chanting it down at the bottom. And then me and Ali just stopped. But me and Ali just kind of stopped because at this point it stopped being funny because the two of us literally turned to each other and were like, are we just bullying this person now? And she's like, yeah, I don't think I'm doing it as a wrestling fan anymore. I think I'm just doing it just to piss him off now.
Something you're very familiar with, isn't it, Amy? Bullying.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we don't have any footage of that on the internet or anything.
No, so he just left.
Again, I'm not going to apologize for anything that I did or I said during the Hallway Games 50th episode.
Stay strong.
I was fully correct in saying every single thing that I said. It was bollocksy fix.
That's the last
push further, Amy. Like test them limits.
I remember.
I don't even need to test. There is no limit. The limit does not exist.
No.
I think the Mock the Week like round, like Yeah, that definitely pushed the limits. I think I went over the
Did that
limit
one get
a couple
edited out?
times.
Did that one get edited
Yes,
out?
you did, Foxy.
Oh.
Although
No.
it won me the round. Oh, yeah.
I actually hold on a second.
I know about testing limits to win rounds.
I do need to double check something. Did my unlikely things that David Starr was likely to say, did it get cut out?
It did get cut out.
Oh, thank fuck. Okay.
Well, no, Foxy's dubious one stayed in because.
Okay, grand. All right, as long as my one then got cut out, then I'm very happy.
I was
Gulag.
Did that? Oh, the Gulag one better stayed.
You won the game with that, Foxy.
You won
my Gulag one stayed. I just hope my David Starr one got cut because that was.
Oh, it did definitely get cut. Yeah, it was the one thing we actually did get cut from that game. In fairness.
Grand.
I heard Butch saying about like he went down like a rabbit hole on YouTube. I just want to hear some of the funniest rabbit holes people have gone down on like fucking the internet or YouTube.
Just because you said that. Like, literally every rabbit hole that I've been on this week. Okay, so my quarantine thing is since I've no sleeping pattern, since I've no reason to get up in mornings, which is so strange. I've been going on rabbit holes till 4 or 5 in the morning. So. Here's one. All right. So last week I got into the Marble Olympics, which is a guy who has.
Oh yes,
great
contest. Absolutely.
Of marbles and like edits them to do like Marble Olympics, and it's so fascinating how he does it and how to detail everything is to work. Because I don't have the brain for that. I couldn't do it, and the fact that he has a proper commentary team. Like the current thing he's doing now is Marble at E. So it's like actual sponsored marbles. That is fantastic. Like BMW, Mercedes, they're sponsoring a marble. Something that you can get in the Euro shop. Like you can get a pack of 10 for $2.50 or maybe $1.50. I'm like, it's so fascinating. And it's the fact that ESPN have caught on to it. And another thing, like going back to retro gaming, is like esports tournaments. I was never an esports guy. I love like all gaming tournaments, but like the whole competitive nature for it is something I've been watching. Like Golden Tee, the arcade golf game. That's a whole tournament on ESPN. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I think my one was when I realized that I was up at like 4:30 in the morning watching a local Indian man showing Gordon Ramsay how to cook a goat curry. I really realized that was the time I needed to fall asleep.
Gordon Ramsay, like he travels and they teach him how to cook the thing in a day.
Yeah. I was there like 5 o'clock in the morning.
I think I'm like one of the only people here then that hasn't actually fallen into a rabbit hole because my actual like scheduled life has not changed at all. I still start my day I'm still up at 7 o'clock every morning. I get ready for work. I work my normal work day and then I just do as I normally would do. The only difference is I don't get to go to a wrestling show once a month.
I think the Ramsey rabbit hole is something that a lot of people have been.
Oh, the kitchen nightmare is the best thing ever.
Like
Shut the place down! Shut the place down!
Here is the list of Ramseyism. Like if you watch any cooking show, it's like, right, now what we're going to do is we're going to put the sauce on the pasta. And the secret here, that's what he always says, the secret here. He always says the secret here, like, you know, and what's this? I mean, come on. Seriously?
Oh, no, I love it. I love, obviously, Nino. Nino is fantastic. Where some Mexican guy's getting angry at him for throwing out his lemons and he just goes, they're moldy, you pillock. He just like screams in his face, they're moldy, like why do you want to get out? This is brilliant.
The best Ramsey nightmares is Amy's Baking Company.
Oh yeah, well that's famous. That is famous.
I have beef with Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, what did he do?
You beef with everyone.
I should have. But no, that he did that like the show Irene was talking about, and he did it with Finnish food, and he said it all tastes like dog food. And,
didn't he?
I've hated him ever since. Like he's a prick.
Oh my God, Tony! Jesus, get a fucking life. Jesus
Tony, isn't it fish in a can though? Isn't it, or is that Iceland?
That's Stromstorm you're thinking of. That's Norwegian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a half-rotten fish in a can. Yeah.
It's not even half raw. I thought it was like just literally like fermented shark.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah.
That's what Belfast does.
So,
Scandinavian.
Jesus. So the couple of things that I've gotten down the rabbit hole lately is well, today I did a rabbit hole of DDT wrestling, the funny wrestling matches. I watched a really good one between Cole Cabana and some other guy that he wears like a thong or something like that. Couldn't.
I've seen him in one of these matches actually that I've been watching. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But like, then I watched a few more of this guy as well. And it's just been brilliant watching it.
It's a real eye opener, isn't it, as to what Japan is really fucking into.
It's crazy.
Fucking weird.
Is it because I put going on?
That's why I watch anime.
Is it because I put that photo of Mao in the group?
No,
it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
See, here's the thing: is Rain, nothing that you have done has like made us do something else. This has literally been something that we've already been doing anyway. You're just really late to the party.
You always seem to get there like 5 minutes after everyone else.
I found the DDT.
Another one that like apart from the DDT wrestling, it was I've really gotten into watching the likes the Amazing Top Tens. I don't know if you've seen it. So like they basically have a video for nearly fucking anything. But I just find them very easy to watch, and especially like for, I don't know, if you're having your dinner as well. It's just like boom, just throw that on, boom, watching that.
Yeah.
Yum 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 yum.
I like how you did the sound effects as well. No.
Actually, now that I think about it,
fun fact: Foxy eats his food like a hamster.
One of the I think I find one of the easiest kind of stuff to watch actually on YouTube is Cinema Sins.
No, I hate that. I hate that. It ruins movies.
I find that so easy to watch. It's literally in the background, and then I can just hear like the one comment that he'll make that'll just make me go, yeah, okay.
See, no, I don't like that because
but I just find it easy to watch. That or Looper. Any of the Looper videos that they have.
Yeah, Looper's good.
Any of those ones, I will have them just on in the background anytime I'm doing anything. And I've binge watched now. I held off on watching The Dark Side of the Ring as well. Like I waited until there was like most of their episodes. The only one that I watched at the time was the Benoit episode, but then I waited for all the other ones, and I watched them during like my days in work. And any ones that I missed on series 1, I went back and watched them.
I watch a channel called Slopes Game Room. I don't know if you've heard it, but like he's a retro gamer, like he does full on like complete histories of certain games, and it's great to watch because he goes into full on detail with them. Stuff you didn't know, like about the spin-offs or how big this particular franchise was at that time. It's crazy, but very enjoyable to watch. I'd recommend it.
That area of YouTube is great for that sort of stuff. Like you can just easily once you click on a video, you just want to go, I want to see what all the rest of the stuff this guy does.
I keep finding myself in like loops of watching like say conspiracy theories about comic book characters like and everything. Like some people like, is it possible that like the Riddler is Batman's dad or like that kind of stuff? I keep watching them because
like conspiracy theories about it.
Conspiracy theories, yeah.
Do you know what I really
they're like? They're just so far fetched, but they're like, actually, do you know what? Like
they make a convincing argument for it.
Yeah, they do.
I really like though. It's just saying you're like mentioning like that one is one of like I think I'm not sure. I don't know if I've never actually kind of seen it though. But like it's one of the alternate universe comic books where instead of Thomas and Martha Wayne getting shot, it's actually Bruce that gets shot.
Yeah, so that's
and then like so she
Flashpoint.
Yeah.
What that Flashpoint movie? That Flashpoint movie, I love it.
Yeah. The Flashpoint movie.
I would love to like give a absolute shout out to Gotham by Gaslight.
Yes,
which is the Batman story where he's set in Victorian times and he's going after Jack the Ripper.
Do you know what I say is a very underrated Batman thing? Batman Ninja. Where they go back to Imperial Japan.
I haven't watched it. Don't know.
I think it's worth the watch. Honestly, it's got like that It's got a weird Batman animated style.
Yeah,
but it's good. Like
if we're talking about the rabbit holes,
I like the Marvel zombies.
Yeah, it's a very good storyline.
I really like the Marvel zombies.
Also, the Batman Who Laughs.
Go watch The Dark Knight Returns. The animated films. They're fantastic. Both parts.
A book that I have here somewhere. One of you actually might get a kick out of it because I got it as a gift from someone, but I think they thought I was actually into comic books, and it's 101 comics to read before you die or something. There's something like one of those ones. Yeah, I have. If anyone wants that, if you are into it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll take it off. Good. Yeah,
3.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So.
3.
Yeah,
okay.
You're talking
after the plague, I will be able to give you that one.
Yeah, well, I was saying,
bring it back. It's quite heavy.
3 months ago, I found a backyard wrestling promotion set in India called Wrestling Reloaded. It's some.
Oh my!
Has been on this
corporate Keen video.
Oh my God!
Keen has done this on This is one of Keen's favorite things.
It's so good because they're all called Rohit in some form or shape. Like The Rock is called the Rohit. Then there's other Stone Cold Rohit, and they had the latest one I watched was a Fatal 4-Way Extreme Rules match on a roof where they had Finn Balor and Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar, and then the Hardy Boys interfered and became a faction with Finn Balor. And then the best one I watched is actually a Buried Alive match where they had they do this really well because they had a really cinematic kind of they actually film it quite well because the Undertaker and Mick Foley are fighting on the top of a dirt pile. And then it goes to a different, a market. And The Rock is cycling on a bike through a market in sandals and, cycling to where, they're getting buried alive. And it's got this, cinematic music going on. And there's just this guy called the Rohit cycling in, sandals through this fish market to get to this place. It's fascinating. I fell down this hole and I haven't been able to get out. It's brilliant. It's actually just crazy.
That's very strange.
Right, so anybody else?
50. I'm
just going to move on from this real quick.
They get 50k views a pop. They're actually.
To be fair, I'd say a lot of that actually came from Keen because Keen did a video on them before a while ago when he first found it, and he for months he was obsessed with it. He's I think he's kind of fallen out of it now. Actually, I must ask him about it again.
And then there's another one called Big Bubba J in America as well. Check him out as well. There's a guy called Big Bubba J, and it's backyard wrestling again. It's brilliant. But yeah, there's YouTube rabbit hole has been a big part of lockdown.
Definitely.
In regards to obviously we play games, but what'd be your top five games?
I'll pass on this.
Go into the head, literally in the next 5 seconds. Think of them.
No one ever lie. I've actually done. Yeah.
Hold on. Crash Bandicoot, Mario Racing. Oh my God, hold on. I had them fucking in my head. They're gone now. My Professor Lipton games that I'm playing on my DS. The Sims. Keep my brain going. The Sims, because I'm obsessed with it, and Curse of Monkey Island on the PC.
That's a good one.
My 5 games. The 5 games that I've been playing constantly during lockdown.
My favorite games of all time. There's going to be a lot of wrestling teams, but I'm going to go with this is in no particular order. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Saints Row 2, bit generic, but I'm going to go with Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. Number 4, what did I say my number 4 was? Oh yeah, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, because that's probably the game I spent the most time on. And what was the 5th? It's on the top of my head. Oh yeah, FIFA 14, because that's probably a FIFA that I spent the most on, and it was good. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to throw another one in for number 6 because I have gone back to playing Five Nights at Freddy again. Five Nights at Freddy's. That was after me and Jonathan were talking about it. And that's the one I was talking about.
So I see it now.
I need the I need the Foxy to go with it though. That's the only thing.
I've got
you have one there.
For my top 5. It's it's kind of very nerdy, but who cares?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Have the pop finals on the first side.
Oh jeez.
Sorry.
Basically, I didn't even see that. I was here thinking, and then I see there. But no. So these are in no particular order until number 1 because I've undisputed. But Uncharted 4, I think I just lost myself in that. Batman, Arkham City, the new Spider-Man on PS4. What's the other? Oh, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and then obviously the undisputed champion of my games, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. because it's the greatest game ever made. Like I've got a Witcher tattoo and everything, mate.
I wasn't able to get into it. The Witcher. I just wasn't.
Witcher is fucking Marmite to me. Like there's some games like the initial Witcher was like you had to go on a fucking 12-week correspondence course to play it, and it kind of like always had that kind of feel to it where you have to be really on the horse to play it. That's not a bad thing, of course. Like most RPGs are like that, but Witcher just takes it to the nth degree, which is good though. It's immersive, but you really
just have to be willing. You really have to be able to give yourself time to get into it, because I'd say the first 2 hours of gameplay aren't particularly drawing you in, but it's once the story starts progressing, like in a sense, it's better, not as just a game, but the story it tells as a game. Like it's a really good story, and the way that for a game that came out in 2013, its graphics compared to other games at the time are insanely good.
I was
it's like the DLC as well. Like it brought out 2 DLC, which are 2 whole new storylines. One of them was something I can't remember how long it was, like 7 hours long was the short one, and then they bring out another one that's like 17 hours long. It was so good. The attention to detail in it is great as well. Like
Outlast is freakishly scary.
Right, that's the thing is, I like horror. Like I don't scare too easily in a sense. And I remember, I think we were playing Outlast, and it's one of the first Foxy fucking jump scares that happens in the fucking game is when you walk into the room and the fucking soldier is still on the pike, and you think he's dead, and then he comes. I shit myself. I proper could not get into it after. I was like, no, if I'm getting freaked out by that, this is not going to be something I'm going to be able to play all the way through.
I never get into horror stuff games.
But then. Yeah. So then I took the coward's way out, and I ended up just watching a playthrough of it. I think I watched I'm nearly sure it was like Markiplier's playthrough of the game. So I ended up watching his version of it, and then. But then I watched his. But then as it started getting to the end, I was kind of like, oh shit, this actually would have really infuriated me, because the way it kind of tailed off at the end as what actually was kind of like the cause of it all, I was like, oh, that would have pissed me off. But then I played Until Dawn, and I actually really like that one, because I like the concept of that one. It's like every choice that you make is going to figure out whether or not it was done really well, like a horror movie is. So all right, I need to make the right choices if I want to survive this, and I really enjoyed that one. And I went back and I replayed that one again, making different choices just to see who could have died and how they were going to die.
Yeah. See, the hidden art of a horror game is making you feel uneasy as opposed to scaring you. Yeah. Because that's what separates something like Outlast, which is good at what it does. It's good at jump scares. But a true horror game, in my opinion, is something that makes you just feel uneasy.
I think like the Silent Hill games
would be
that really made me uneasy.
That's a psychological
that's the thing is, it's like I don't like the mindfuck that this is after giving me.
Yeah.
After all this, there would be on foggy fucking days, I'd be fucking panicking, because I'd be going to work in the mornings and it would be foggy, and there'd be when I was working my Saturday shifts, and I'm waiting at the bus at 6:30 in the morning, and there's a dead fog, and it's still dark out, and there's no one around, and then all of a sudden I'll hear something. It's coming from my fucking earphones, but I'll hear a noise, and I'll just be looking over the field and be like, is that a fucking nurse? Is that a fucking nurse?
I can't have someone come up behind me. I literally would walk up the stairs backwards if I could. I cannot have someone come behind me. I am the worst for jump scares. That happened to me the first time I ever watched a horror movie. I stupidly thought I'd be able to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre by myself when I was 10. And I thought, this is fine. And it was do you know, when you're younger and you're like, okay, as soon as the light turns off, that's when the demon comes. And I only have until I get to the top of the stairs to turn on the next light before I die. Yeah. And
I think we all did that as a kid.
Right? I'm 30, and if I'm in the house by myself, I still probably do it.
I had that with Witch from Dorothy.
We were I turned off one of the lights, and it was the last image that I had in my head was Leatherface whacking some fella on the head, and then his body just convulsing, and that was the only thing that I could remember. And I ran, and I tripped over a wire that was in the hall, and I face planted onto the stairs. But like I was so scared anyway over what like just in my mind that I still like ran up the stairs like a fucking dog, made it to my bedroom, and I was like, okay, this is fine, I'm fine. The light is on, and as soon as I turned and looked in the mirror and there was just blood everywhere, I was like, oh, that's from the stairs. Okay, I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
I was like
I do that. Like
psychologically thinking like, where'd this blood come from?
No, but like I did the thing like when you turn off the light, you just sprint as fast as you can, and then you get into your room. But like, say you hear a noise, like say if I threw like my t-shirt on the edge of the chair over there, right, and say it falls in the middle of the night, the first thing I'm doing is duvet over the head and just giving myself enough little air to breathe out of it. Even if it's just the t-shirt falling, I'm like, all right, no, that's me. I have to protect myself from the demons.
I'm happy to know that Tony also has like the closed chair, right? I think everyone has a closed chair in their room. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I'm currently looking at my closed chair right now, and I have all the dark clothes at the bottom of this because at nighttime in a shadow, it looks like someone is sitting in the chair. And I suffer with, occasionally I'll suffer with like sleep paralysis.
Oh,
and
I fucking hate when
it
that
has,
hits.
I don't see, not only do I have like the paralysis where I can't move, but I'll also hallucinate as well. And I had a hallucination, right? It wasn't funny at the time, but it's really funny now when I think about it. So what had happened was, my brain woke up, but my body didn't wake up. But I started hallucinating that there was it was like literally like a dragon type thing sitting in the corner, and he was just staring at me. But he kept getting closer and closer and closer, and then eventually my body woke up, and I was able to like shake it off. And I was like, and I looked, and it was literally just like an OTT hoodie on top of a Fight Club Pro hoodie on top, and it was just anything that was black. I was like, right, from now on, black clothes stay at the bottom. But like that was all based off like I think I can't remember, it was like something stupid fucking movie I decided to watch thinking it was a good idea. It wasn't, and then that's what it led to. But it's really bad. Like I'm like the last person that's like, I'm the person that's going to die if anyone ever breaks into the house. Like I know I'm going to hear everyone else been murdered, and I'm going to be the last one to die because I'm in the fucking attic and there's no way out. I'm fucked.
I used to have really bad sleepwalking issues, and I once walked down the stairs asleep, got into the shower, turned on the shower, and had a shower in my pajamas, all while being asleep.
How could you sleepwalk with your club feet?
They were wow.
It's a very valid question, though. He's got a point there. Like that's a very valid question.
Dagger in my sure. I had a stair lift right into the shower, like electrical right into the shower. I was on a zip line like Shawn Michaels right into the shower.
What was your top? We didn't get your top five, Foxy.
So like my top five, like at number 5, because in terms of long-term storytelling, one that has just made me like commit to it, I had to find out what happened, was Telltale's The Walking Dead. They just did.
Batman, the Telltale series is one of my favorites.
Yeah,
like the Telltale games are good.
It's the best one.
Yeah,
but I mean, like The Walking Dead really made me invest in it. I had to know. Like even when they went through the trouble of like the studio was giving up and they were just on strike and that was it. It was like, for fuck's sake, that means like this won't finish. We won't know what happens, even though it's supposed to release. It's like, thank Christ they announced like, yes, we're gonna finish it. We're buying them up and we're gonna try and make it as best we can. I didn't care as long as I got to finish the fucking story. So I was just like, in terms of long-term storytelling, yes, Telltale The Walking Dead is number 5. For enjoyability, the Tekken series in general, like as a fighting game, it's my favorite fighting game. Sports related, Tony Hawk or the Skate series.
I did love Tony Hawk actually.
Like bit nostalgia, but also like just I like skateboarding.
That's a good game too.
What was that? So Telltale, fucking. I'm forgetting what I'm saying now.
Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Telltale, Walking
Tekken.
Dead, Tekken, the
Tony Hawk.
So number 1.
No, still 2 more.
Number 2 and number 1. Yeah.
2 more.
Reen, it's not your podcast anymore, okay? You can't rush him, okay? This is Foxy's time. You're on, okay?
You would think that, like, by letting you go first, I'd have it thought out. It's like, oh yeah, this.
Yeah.
See, what happens is, like, you give everyone else a chance to do it, and then we go off topic, and then you're like, shit.
That's why I brought him back. That's why I brought him back.
Also, I'd prefer go first in that because it's just like everyone else says something and you're like, oh, jeez, actually, that's a good shout.
That's not really even worse. It's like now, after hearing him say like Tony Hawk, I was like, actually, shit, Tony Hawk and Sonic really should have been in my top list.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog is on the list.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And especially after getting the Sonic Mania treatment.
Oh, that's so fucking good.
Brilliant. Like,
the music, man.
Yeah.
It's really good, it is.
And finally, top game, Streets of Rage. Don't know. They released number 4 just like last week, and I love it.
Okay, diggity. This is kind of awkward because no, Animal Crossing, no.
No, one person had Animal Crossing. Everyone's fucking playing it, but none of us.
I considered it.
And I will never give a top 5 because I'll just trigger everybody because I'm an uncultured swine. So my top 5 will not be.
Right,
please,
skip
please,
No. We're gonna skip Rain.
Come on.
Right, come on, Jonathan.
See, this is really awkward. This is really awkward because on my channel we have a list called the Top 100, and it's me and 2 other lads sharing a Top 100 games. And the worst part about it is that I haven't done top 10 yet. So this is kind of awkward because
well, then we'll skip yours. We'll put it as like to be continued.
To be continued.
No. I'm to be honest with you, like the crossover audience. No, I'm okay. I was just I was trying to remember what the top 10 was. So
I want to try your voice so it's not yours. Disguise it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do it, Tyler Bate. Yeah. Tyler Bate it.
No, I'll do it as Kermit the Frog. So my number 10 is the Shadow of the Colossus. You know, it's a really good game, and it's so powerful and emotional. My number.
I can't wait till it blends back into your Irish accent and it's just Kermit the Frog, the knacker.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
That's the worst thing about doing a Kermit Frog voice.
What's the best impression everybody has? That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Mine
actually is good.
Mine is Smeagol. Mine is Smeagol.
Go on, go for it.
Do it.
Wait, I have to give me time. I have to find the voice.
All right, I'll just say, my best one is my Miss Piggy one, but I can only do like two like things in it, and it's like when she goes, Kermit, that's literally all I can do for her. But that's like the best version of it I can do.
That'll be you.
Me, I think the only thing I can do close to anywhere near good. I think it might be wrong. Tony and Butch will butcher me if it's wrong, but I think I can do a good the Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor call out quite well.
Do it.
That's right. Conor McGregor, you got everything I work for, man. I'm gonna fight your fucking ass. I think it wasn't terrible. I didn't get the list.
Terrible, to be fair.
I have a picture of fight a bit high pitched and like I don't know. Who trying to think of who can I do?
All right. I think I've got the Smeagol now. Okay.
Go for it.
There's evil little hobbitses. They stole my precious.
Sorry, I'm popping for that one.
That's good.
That's accurate.
Thank you.
One of my weird ones I think is Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, okay. Do that. Do that.
We need to hear this.
Just on the safe side, I'm just going to be on the safe side. I have a feeling this is going to be a loud one, so I'm just going to move the headset away.
Brace yourself,
For people
lads.
listening on your earphones, take one out.
Okay. Hello, my dear. I am Mrs. Doubtfire, and I'm here to mind the children.
That's good though.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I legit thought you were going to do the scream. There we go. I thought he was going to do it quite loudly.
I used to like one of my party tricks is doing a Shaggy on karaoke.
Nice. That's good.
And Shaggy on karaoke. I just know Gordon Ramsay isms, and one I've been told I can do well is the show Friday Night Dinner. I can do a decent Jim. Everyone knows who Jim is.
Yeah.
He's a very weird, infatuated man. He's like, Hello,
Is this
Jackie.
the neighbor?
You look nice. Yeah, the neighbor.
Shalom.
Shalom. I used to play the piano, or not the piano, the bassoon. Like the hiccups, but sort of in reverse.
You know, actually, him as actor-wise, there's do you know the Channel 4 did it, the Spaced with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost? Yeah, that's Tim, the artist.
Yeah.
It took me ages. I was like, I know him. I don't know how I know him. And then I realized it's the same fucking person. I just think he's brilliant.
The gunfight in that show.
Oh,
it's the best episode ever. I pissed myself laughing at that one.
Honest to God, you know what? It needs more than a cult following. That show is highly underrated for what they did.
What's everyone's favorite wrestling moment in normal TV shows?
Wrestling moment.
Like, is it like wrestling cameos or whatever?
I don't really watch shows that would have cameos like that. So
yeah. I've actually got one for this, right?
I have one as well.
This is only one I actually.
That 70s show is the only one I can think of.
I have one as well.
This one is so fucking weird that it doesn't actually belong in my mind, right? Star Trek Voyager. There's an episode where The Rock plays himself.
Is in it?
Yes. He wrestles 7 of 9 and gives her a rock bottom. And you know it's a rock because he still does the people's eyebrow, right? The only thing that's different with him is that he has a little bit of like forehead chemistry here. And he's from a race of people who basically are just super muscular, essentially. They make an entire race of people based around The Rock.
Yep.
And he does the eyebrow, he does the whole entrance, the whole thing. It's just purely him giving fucking like Jerry Ryan a Stone Cold or fucking people's elbow. It's just bizarre. Like it doesn't belong. And if that just epitomizes Voyager generally. It was that fucking.
The only example I can think of is John Cena in Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah.
Or in showing your age there, Tony.
or in Fred. But my favorite.
Fred, so.
I don't know what that is.
My favorite is the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they run a wrestling promotion, and Roddy Piper's living out his car, and Danny DeVito. They're like come up with a gimmick. They're coming up with a gimmick, and Frank's like, "I'm the trash man." What do you do? I eat trash, and he just dumps out the dumpster and eats all the trash. It's just like fucking.
I'd actually didn't realize it. I'd never watched It's Always Sunny until Sideburns came over and he stayed with me.
It's
for like, and I think he was over for like fight. No, it wasn't fight. I think he was over for like Trinity Brawl or something like that.
Trinity Brawl, wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was yeah, because he was that's what it was. He was reffing. He was doing reffing for Fight Factory. So he came over and he was like, we collected him from the airport, and like we weren't tired or anything. We were just kind of like chatting away, and he was like, "Have you ever watched It's Always Sunny?" And I'm like, "Nah, I never got into it." And that was like the first time I think I've ever actually watched it. And he just like said, right, I'm going to pick a few episodes just for you to watch to get into it and then watch it from the start. And I think actually, the wrestling episode was one of the first things that you actually showed us.
Where
it was actually pretty good.
The Eagles come out and the guy comes out, Rickety Cricket comes out and he says, "I'm the terrorist." And then the lads come out as the Eagles. And it's brilliant. But like, It's Always Sunny is my favourite show. Yeah, yes, literally, exactly.
The New Day, yeah.
The New Day. It was literally They literally came up with like a whole musical performance. Brilliant.
I know
it was Kevin Nash in Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Oh, it's like the fucking dad.
Yes.
There's a fucking reference.
Oh my God. Was X-Pac also in that as well?
Was it?
Oh my God, yeah, because she had to like be the maid. I remember there was some other wrestler done one as well.
See, has anyone seen that episode of the Big Show where Big Show and Mark Henry end up doing a rendition of "I Want It That Way"? It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I've seen the clip.
Weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I've seen the clip of it, but I'm not really into the show.
No, I haven't watched it. I've seen that clip as well. I find it very strange.
I know this is a tangent, but it might be time to delete your Netflix accounts because Keeping Up with the Kardashians is coming onto it, and so it's Justice League. So, you know.
Oh.
What, the movie Justice League?
The movie.
Yeah.
No.
So,
did anyone actually watch the remake of Child's Play?
No.
It's actually quite good.
Like, I knew Mark Hamill would do a good job, but like I didn't really want to go near.
No, because like I'll have to admit, the doll is fucking like the way they have it like set up, like so like instead of it just being like a possessed doll, like it's done like it's set up like technology wise. It's it is technology that's going to take you down, sort of thing. But it's actually all right. Like, it's not bad. There's some really savage moments in that the doll does that are actually pretty funny.
I've never been into horror movies, so it just doesn't fucking click with me. So.
Well, I don't really like when I watch stuff. I kind of like I start watching something now, but like I always end out just going back to watching Pokemon. So I never really get into
I'm
stuff
still watching the same
It's
6 movies.
It's a fair show.
7 movies.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
it is a fair show.
Has anyone watched Afterlife yet? I mean,
No.
I've been meaning to get onto that as well.
I've only watched the first series. I haven't watched the second series. I'm not emotionally ready to do that.
So
to myself.
I never get like hear of all these popular shows until Rob starts talking about them. Like all the
Rob has been talking about Afterlife for quite some time now. To be fair.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Ricky
but,
Gervais
like,
is very good.
See, like I don't I don't have any like anyone on like my social medias that would be talking about like upcoming TV shows or anything, and I always miss the hype of shows unless it's something that I'd be interested in myself. So I like literally everyone's just talking about all these things. Like I didn't know about Stranger Things until about earlier this year.
I haven't
watched
watched any of it.
No,
I haven't
either.
watched it,
Right.
but I only started hearing hype about it at the start of this year when I was wait was it? Yeah, so I was just back from Finland from being in the army, and then all my friends were like, "Have you watched Stranger Things? Like the new season's out or whatever?" And I'm like, "Have I watched what now? Like what?" So
Yeah, I've never actually watched any of it.
I find that with
Really?
shows, like a lot of the time I'll avoid them because people are hyping the hell out of them, and that
Yeah, same.
usually it raises the expectations so high that it's like it's never gonna.
Yeah, it's not
Like,
going to
do
reach
it.
this.
that is the exact reason what ruined Endgame for me.
I was talking to someone about the same way where if you like I was talking to one of my friends and he was saying I'm never gonna rate anything 10 out of 10 because that means every time I go in and watch something there's nothing that can get better than that.
Yeah.
As in terms of
You know what?
and it's in terms of when you look at it like you know in Meltzer whatever people's opinions are he gave Omega a 7-star match. That someone put that like compared that to so that means all those Kobashi matches from back in the day are 3 stars if you're gonna change the scale from being a 5-star to a 7-star match.
If anyone is basing their wrestling opinions on just what Dave Meltzer has to say, then there's a lot more issues going on in that person.
Oh yeah, no, but that's the perspective in terms of like if you want to grade something so highly, then you're gonna like set yourself up for disappointment.
See, this is one of those things where I'm like, everyone's entitled to their opinion unless they tell me that that's who they base their opinion on. Then you're not entitled to that opinion. You don't deserve that opinion at all.
Because it's not your own.
See, that's like exactly like people who base their opinion on movies on Rotten Tomatoes as well, for an example.
See, I don't. See,
the people who are like, yeah, it's the people who are like, is the movie good? And I'm like, I watched it and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. And they're like, yeah, but it got a 36 on Rotten Tomatoes, so
it's
I don't
naive.
think I'll watch it. It seems bad.
Yeah.
Like,
But like
I've
that's
just given you a good review of it.
All right,
It's naive to think
that
that,
transitioned very well. Like obviously, like people's opinions about like certain things usually dictate about what either you see or you don't see. So,
Yeah.
film in regards to films, what is a film that you really like but has probably been slated online? Just one film.
Space Jam.
No, everyone likes Space
really
Jam.
Everyone likes Space Jam.
Yeah, but like you know, when you look at like a lot of actual critics on it, that gets slated. I'm trying to think of another one that I love.
Lads, I'm a horror movie fan. Every fucking movie I really like is slated by everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, here's the thing is, so when I'm looking at some stuff that I would watch, like, because like there's a load of movies that are on Netflix there at the moment, right? There's one called the Funhouse Massacre. It's really, really stupid. It's really, really over the top. It's very much like the Hatchet horror series.
Mm-hmm.
And they are highly enjoyable, but everyone will slate them because they're literally done as like C-type movies. They're over the top.
It makes you start thinking now.
But that's the thing. They're over the top.
Yeah.
They're very in your face. They're very tongue-in-cheek. They know that they're over the top. Those are the types of movies that I really like. I fucking love the Sharknado movies.
Here's my example. Do you know Inferno that had Tom Hanks in it?
Yes.
That movie got a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I absolutely loved the movie. Like, it was because I was big into that series anyway. But I watched that movie, and while it's not the best of the trilogy, it is still quite good in my opinion, of course. And I know loads of people who are just like, yeah, but it's like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not worth my time. Like, I'm like, oh, fine, whatever.
I love the movie Armageddon, and even the filmmaker slates that movie.
Mine is...
Don't want to follow circles. Oh, we'll get copyrighted. Actually, we better stop.
Sorry, boss.
No, actually, if you keep singing out a tune, you're grand. That's how it works.
My
like actually,
I like Batman v Superman.
Oh
yes.
Suicide Squad. I like Suicide Squad.
No,
I like Suicide Squad.
I don't know. There's something weird about Suicide Squad.
I have my critiques about both of them, but
but
generally,
I
enjoyed both of them.
Yeah. So that's the thing is,
it's like one of them. If you watch Suicide Squad and you're just like, okay, like I want to kill some time, it's a good way to do that.
It's like the thing is though, I'm not watching a movie because I'm like, I want this to follow canon exactly as to how it is. I watch a movie because I want to be entertained for a certain amount of time because I have got time to kill.
Yeah.
That's why I watch a movie, and that's why I will enjoy it. So whether or not someone turns around and says, "Oh, I can't believe you watched that," it's shit. I was like, but I enjoyed it.
I didn't think,
I didn't think it was shit. It's like you. It's like how you got when we all gave our opinion on Joker.
Oh yeah, how you all hate Joker.
It's not, but that's the thing is like. But here's the thing is, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie, but I don't think it deserved all the hype that it got.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like that was hyped up so much everywhere by everyone, and a load of people like, oh, I've seen it like 7 times. Like, I don't know what my mind is warped, and I don't know what's right and wrong anymore. And you're like, I watched it, and I'm like, that was pretty savage what he did to that dude in his fucking apartment. Like that's literally that was my view on it. I didn't have a warped sense of, oh my god, I don't know what's right and wrong anymore. I'm like, lads, if that's how you felt walking out of those movies, then you have issues anyway.
Yeah.
I don't get
like that's the hype. I didn't get the hype on it. That's what put me off ever wanting to see it. That and Clem.
I mean, the hype. I got the hype that was building up to it. Like I understood why, because it was like, first of all, it was the first serious, like people were taking seriously rendition of the Joker since Ledger, because when Leto was announced as Joker, it was kind of like, okay, like I wonder what this will be. Probably bad. Then there was like test screens of him. They're like, this looks dreadful. Whatever.
Well, people judged it by the look of it, but they did that with Heath Ledger as well. And then they seen it and they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like realistically speaking,
they always just say that though.
But here's the thing is, had Heath Ledger not died, do you still think he would have gotten an Oscar for that?
He would have got nominated. He wouldn't have won.
Yeah,
he would have gotten nominated.
I don't doubt his ability for doing it. Like he played a fantastic role. He did everything.
It was an excellent role. But like again, like when you look at the way the Academy works, they have they look down on an awful lot of movies, and comic book movies are movies that they look an awful lot down on.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think kind of the publicity around that, like it was a fantastic performance, and I did think it was nominated, like it deserved to be a nominating. But I don't think had he not died, I don't think he wouldn't have won.
No, he wouldn't.
I'm gonna see what was in the class with me.
My one is based is
2008.
A lot of them are based on
2009.
A lot of them are based on like this movie is bad or whatever. But my one's based. I see a lot of like a vendetta against like Will Ferrell a lot on where like people are like, oh, this man's unfunny and gone on the spiel like that. One of my favorite movies is Step Brothers, and I think people frown upon it as like cheap comedy or if this is bad, but I think it's a fucking fantastic movie. I love that movie.
Brilliant.
It's one of the few Will Ferrell movies that I like.
It's brilliant.
See,
and same thing from
the way I look at it. The way I look at it is once you've seen one Will Ferrell movie, you've seen most of them all.
Yeah. It's like Adam Sandler. They all got very repetitive in what they did.
But that movie is amazing. And I will be the first to say I'm a cultured film fan. I watch a lot of cheesy Netflix. Another one of my favorite movies is The Dictator. which is a very frowned upon film, but
I love The Dictator. Yeah,
it's hilarious. What else? 30 Minutes or Less. That's another cheap Netflix film that I like.
Based on it. Hold on, that's based on a fucking actual story.
I know it is.
Though,
it's based on an actual story. That was a bit distasteful, but just as a move, just strip back to just a movie.
Just going back. Sorry,
I'm
just want to go
with the Heath Ledger thing.
Yeah,
was Robert Downey Jr. was nominated in Tropic Thunder.
For Tropic Thunder, right now, take him out. Right, and the other 3 nominations were Michael Shannon for Revolutionary Road, Philip Seymour fucking Hoffman for Doubt, and Josh Brolin in Milk, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, there was no way Ledger was winning that.
I'm sorry. That realistically, that should have been down to either Josh Brolin or Philip Seymour Hoffman, and a lot of people had said Seymour Hoffman had that in the fucking bag until Heath Ledger passed away. And
I would have given it to Downey.
Do you know what's really, really shitty about this entire situation? Philip Seymour Hoffman died the following
2014.
2014 was when he fucking died. 2nd of February 2014, and he died near enough of an overdose as well.
Do you know what? I loved him. He was so good.
Fucking rated actor.
In the Hunger Games, he was so good. I loved the Hunger Games, his character he played. Yeah. Because I have a soft spot for the Hunger Games.
In so many amazing movies though as well.
Yeah.
Almost Famous, fucking Twister. That's another one of the movies that gets slated was actually class. Twister is a fucking fantastic movie.
Yeah. I've gotten into like really like those like kind of like bad movies. Like last weekend I watched Basketball and Orgasmo, which are like 2. If you like South Park, they're 2 hilarious films that I watched last weekend. Again, just crappy. Some people, it's so if you like a movie that's just really really bad, but it just makes you laugh for an hour and a half, fair enough. Like if people that's why looking at Rotten Tomatoes is a terrible thing because it's completely subjective.
Yeah,
you have no idea who's writing that review.
Actually, that Butch made us watch The Room. I will forever be grateful and in debt to Butch for making us watch The Room because it was the stupidest piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Yet every chance I get and I see it popping up somewhere to watch, I will fucking sit there and watch it.
I've been to 2 screenings, right? I went to my first one with John Kelly, my friend, and Sean Hodson, cameraman for OTT. And the last time I went to see it was with my girlfriend, who has been a fan of The Room, but she'd never experienced a screening. So we went, and it was just unbelievable. Like, the first time I went was brilliant. The second time I went was even better. Because, like, the guy who ran it was, like, he was kind of, like, sitting at the side of the stairs. And every time he wanted me to notice, like, these little things that I had not noticed before, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he goes, here, watch this. And he just kind of changed my perspective for the better of watching the film. I think I need to do another one of them soon. I need to watch The Room.
Well, did you go to the Lighthouse viewing of The Disaster Artist?
No. I actually saw that on the day of my birthday. Like
they did a great thing where like when you're going downstairs into the cinema, right? They had done like a little because the staircases are huge for some reason. The Lighthouse, and for some reason they're in the corner, right? They had recreated the set of I Did Not Hit Her, the rooftop. So they recreated it, right? So like you can kind of walk out. You can walk out of the little loft. They have the bottle there on the plant, and you can just basically like film yourself going out and just doing the whole thing, and just like you just go in and out doing it, and it's just like it was so perfectly done. Just the way it was just like, oh, here's the thing you can do while you're finished, or before you go to the movie. It was just such a nice little touch that I just really had to just.
I did not hit her. It's not true. I did not hit her. I did not.
I want to go.
Hi, Mark.
I want to go to a live. I want to go to a live screening of Fatal Deviation, just to watch people's faces. I just want to, because that guy did that movie because he loved Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he really wanted to be like Jean-Claude Van Damme. So he got $8.5 grand and put together this movie. And
in trim, by the way. And the Irish kung fu movie in fucking trim.
Is that the one that has fucking Mikey from Boyzone in it?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's not coke.
No, actually, with a Dunn's Club card. He's cutting up cocaine with a Dunn's Club card.
But Amy, in the credits,
I have seen this.
in the credits, he's Mickey Graham from the rock group Boyzone. Boyzone in 2 words.
And
get that right.
And the best thing about it is the guy who gave all the money wanted one scene, and they're in the middle of all the fight tournament, and he just runs out of his caravan in a cowboy hat naked and jumps into a bath. And that's his his scene.
That's not the best story. The best story is the car crash, right? They had
they totaled the car.
They rented the car, right? And like your man,
and it gave away this punchline on that one there, Rian.
Yeah. Thanks, by the way. Yeah, but all he had to do was drive down this road, right? Like at a reasonable speed, right? But he completely fucked it. Like he turned the car in, right? The axle twisted and like topples the car completely. So they're looking like obviously he's fine, right? More or less, because he's a fucking stuntman by trade. So he got away. So he pretty much got away with it. But the thing was like, right, this one car that we had rented for the movie is now fucked, and now we're gonna have to pay for it. And so what did he do is like, okay, let's just write it into the film where we just make it explode for some reason. So they just like on the fly, just had him just like filmed him running away from the car and doing a big dive, and he added the explosion in afterwards. You can still see the fucking blue screen texture around the fire. It was ridiculous. But the sheer fact that like, oh yeah, we've crashed a car. What should we do? I don't know. Let's write it into the script. It's like, okay, fine. Didn't realize we even had a fucking script.
Brilliant. It's just fantastic.
So, as we wind down and we're coming to the end, so because like don't want to give away everything all at once.
Of course,
plus,
yeah.
this is
Of course, yeah.
pushing like 2 hours now.
2.5 hours.
So, I don't want to repeat the last attempt. So
yeah.
For those listening, I want to thank the guest that came on today for this episode. Thank you for helping me do it. Thanks for the communist Tony Kenny. Thanks to the voice of OTT Butch. Rian, the man that genetics forgot. Amy. I've no
and from the front row.
She will murder you with her eyes.
And Darkwing Duck, Jonathan Nolan.
Thank you, Foxy. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Foxy.
So,
thank you for bringing us all here. It's been a lovely time.
Now, if you like the episode, please go back, listen to our other episodes, comment, subscribe. It's available at all, like wherever you get your podcasts. Go check out like the Hallway Wrestling Podcast. Check out their 50th episode. It's on YouTube. Anything else you want to plug right now?
Nah, it's all good.
Stay safe. Stay home.
Yeah, wash your.
I want to get out of this lockdown as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Stay safe. Don't try this at home.
Let's go back to shows.
Season your meals as you cook.
Yeah. What I will plug is that if I find you congregating groups outside, I will throw shoes at you until you go away.
I'll do that as well.
I never wash raw chicken.
I didn't say they were my shoes. I just said they were just general shoes. Like, I'll just find them. Yeah.
Cut it, quick, cut it.
And on that note, we shall talk to you again in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Foxy.